Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there has been having a good weekend, y'all. We're back with another one. It's lights have been flickering in this household since we've been going down this dark side of TikTok. But you guys love it, and that you guys love it, I love it. So we're gonna keep riding. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
3 different cars at this advanced auto won't start. This Nissan Maxima just put gas in his car. His car won't start. This Mercedes-Benz over here just put gas in his car. His car won't start. This is the truck. They put the gas in.
Damn.
And my car is over here. Okay. My car won't start.
So when they bomb the church, it's because they don't want the church. That land is supposed to be part of the Jewish
You're not
state.
allowed to use my tax dollars to bomb churches.
Well, that's what they're doing.
I'll put up with a lot of stuff, but I think I've said this 100 times, let me say it again. I don't understand how any Christian leader in the United States can sit by and not say something about that. And Mike Huckabee, who has been a pretty slavish, devotee of the state of Israel, and I don't mean that as a compliment, he's a very nice man, but I disagree with him strongly. Even Mike Huckabee came out and said, whoa.
Yeah.
You can't kill Christians.
And American citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why that's not, if that's not a red line, then there's no red line.
I know people right now who they don't wash their jeans until they fuck them up.
Same. Yeah. That's me.
If they don't sweat in them and they don't spill nothing on them,
that's it.
Put them back on the hanger,
Put 'em on the hanger,
and let it, let the air get the wrinkles out, and then and until next time.
Yeah.
Coming up, like in our era, bro, you had to have, even if it was a black jeans, you had to have different pair of black jeans.
Yep.
For what?
Ignorant. No reason. Nowadays, you can get any brand jean. Nobody cares. Right. It could be PacSun, it could be H&M, it could be Fashion Nova. Yep. Back in the day, you weren't rocking Levi's or, Rockaware, LRG. Yep. Had to be something, bro. Like, back in the day, like, coming up, like, people was looking at your outfit from head to toe and looking for brands. Like, I think brands were very heavy.
I never was like that.
In our time. Like, and then, like, you really couldn't skew away from, like, bro, if you had on, now, Levi's, you had some range. You could put a different brand shirt with some Levi's. But, like, if you had on some Rockaware jeans and any of that Rockaware, like, on that back pocket.
You couldn't do Rockaware with LRG.
No.
That sucks.
There's underground civilizations on this earth who are very advanced. They've got a whole world down there that we don't know anything about. And a lot of people don't even want to believe that. But they have their own sun, they have their own oceans, they have everything underneath the planet. But we were taught that it's really hot inside. It's a molten iron, the center of the earth. And the further down you go, the hotter it gets. So how could anybody live down there? Nah, it's not possible. It's all a fairy tale, you see. But if you want to believe that, what our scientists know is only a smidgen of the totality of what knowledge exists.
The FBI just proved that they can find you from any photo online, and what they do next is terrifying. This is Jacob Hoops, a 24-year-old college grad at an ICE protest. The FBI had photos of a suspect in a pink gas mask, but they didn't know who he was. So they took a picture of him from a news site and fed it into facial recognition software and instantly got a match from his college photo album online. That's how they got his name. Then armed agents swarmed his house, dragging him and his housemates outside in their underwear. And here's the most terrifying part. The FBI used commercially available software, not some secret government tool. This was a tool anyone can use. Your face is now your fingerprint, and you can't wipe it clean.
That's what they do, y'all. Remember the Pokemon Go thing? How I don't know what company used that to create their grid or whatever, but that's what they do. Like, we use our face to log in. I use my face to log into my phone, right? That just goes into the database. That's why they want our data. They got our face right here, our fingerprint right here. They got our fingerprint to use the phone. When we use Google Maps, we created the Waymo, how it goes, because we take back roads. Now Waymo knows every back road, twist and turn to get to this destination, because people use different destinations to get to different places. Like, they use us, y'all, to create this technology.
Is the anti-venom for a snake bite.
I heard of that.
In nature. Sheep's blood is actually, yes, anti-venom for a snake bite. So if you go back to the cross, you had the Passover lamb was injected with sin, because this is what they do. They inject the venom into the sheep. It creates antibodies. They take the antibodies from the sheep. And this is how they get anti-venom. Jesus Christ was injected with the sin of the world, and his blood created the anti-venom that purchased us and rescued us from that. Think about that.
That is awesome.
I just wanted to put that in because we're talking about shepherding and things like that. But we have to come to grips in the church that it's like, will the real shepherds please stand up? We need shepherds in the pulpit that are willing to speak the truth, to not back down from it, to not back down from attacks. Look at the persecution that's going on in Syria right now. The Christians are being butchered, and you can't handle a bad comment on your social media feed? I mean, this is what I mean. We have to get mentally tougher as far as what it means to be a shepherd, and that you're going to face a lot of opposition because your job is to guard the flock from every predator that wants to get in and ravage it.
Right.
And so that all, fell off in 2017. So that's why the flock wasn't ready and the shepherds weren't ready, because a lot of them became showmen, kind of like, prophets sold out to Jezebel and Ahab, and then they were eating at Jezebel and Ahab's table, and they became prophets of Baal. Same thing. And suddenly you saw the churches taking temperatures, masks on, following what the state was saying in that regard, and completely just losing sight of the fact of what the church is there to do and what the shepherds are there to do in a time of danger.
Human chicken. They just put it out there, didn't they? Who would order that? Spicy too.
The board has pieces. The pieces in the board. Look, it's a board game. It's a fucking board game. Shows you the world. Hashtag flat Earth. Look. This is a fucking board game. The board game from 2017. Pandemic. The board game. These are the places of the These are the places of the outbreaks. And everyone gets a player. You get a little thick card. It's in, guys. I can't fold it back up.
We're not going to play that game.
I know we're not going to play that game, Michael. God, you're not even supposed to be here yet.
I'm sorry.
He's like, we're not going to play that game. Well, you already played the game. The world did, and we knew it was a fucking game. But apparently you guys didn't, so we're just saying. Oh, my girl, it's been so long. I hope you're well, beautiful. Hi, Jen Faith. No, I don't know who Jen Faith is.
So, quick Las Vegas shooting rabbit hole here. The Saudi royal family, the Saudi royal family is very complicated, and I am no expert, but I do know that the old school Saudi royal family is one way, very conservative, very traditional, and this is like Al Walid bin Talal is sort of the primary factor in that, and he owns the building, the hotel chain, the Four Seasons, in which
they imprisoned everyone
on top of the hotel, the Mandalay Bay, where that shooting in Las Vegas happened.
Oh, you're talking about the one in Vegas.
The Las Vegas shooting, yes.
Okay.
Because Jamal Khashoggi got chopped up 1 year to the hour after the Las Vegas shooting. As in, if you account for the time zones, it was 1 year later to the day. But if you account for the time zones, it was like 1 year later to like the hour.
Okay,
of that
what does this have to do with
shooting?
it, though?
So, what's his name? John. I always forget his name to try to give him credit because he's such an autist and he's so fucking anal about having credit. Maybe it'll come to me. He's a YouTuber, and he did a lot of the digging into the Las Vegas shooting, and he's the primary source where he's the guy that dug a lot of the primary source stuff up about Las Vegas shooting. But pretty solid theory that the Las Vegas shooting, MBS, who is this new crown prince that hit, they had just transferred the crown prince title from Al Walid bin Talal to Mohammed bin Salman, which is a huge shift because bin Salman is like very progressive. He's like throwing raves these days and like thinking women should be able to wear what they want and like all this other fucking not traditional shit. That is not cool with the old guard in Saudi Arabia. Right. They are not down. And Al Walid bin Talal invites Mohammed bin Salman to the Four Seasons for that, like, come, because it's Passover is the Jewish holiday, and there's a parallel holiday that I forget the name of.
I don't even feel like I work at a middle school. I feel like I work at a mental health facility. I'm not kidding you. Every day, counselors are it's not even students; they're patients, and I mean, every day I just
patients that eat Takis.
Takis.
These counselors, I mean, they do such a great job, and then you got this school psychologist and all this. It's just putting out dumpster fires left and right. It's just that all day, and and that's why everyone is exhausted. And then we get to, but that's the craziest thing about teaching, because every time you're like, that's it, I'm done, a break shows up.
And then they're kicking students out that like write articles they don't like.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't a university supposed to be a place where someone's allowed to express themselves and have
non-violently?
Yeah. They're writing something down, and they're not calling for violence either, and they're getting challenged. That's supposed to be how it happens. You get challenged, smarter people have better arguments, or your argument stands.
Right, discourse.
Yes.
It's supposed to be a place for discourse.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you're deporting people because you don't like who they're criticizing? Like, that gets kind of shifty.
My new perspectives, there's nothing wrong with being a billionaire, but if somebody is working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, and they can't make their rent, you're not paying them enough money. Maybe you should just be worth $900 million.
Yeah.
Like, how does a CEO take a fucking 8-figure bonus and none of your employees have dental insurance? They can't even go out and get a filling.
Visa has finally responded, and they are having a very bad time. There has been a massive backlash.
Imagine trying to buy a game on Steam only to find out it's vanished. Not because it's illegal, but because Visa and MasterCard decided you can't buy it. Tens of thousands of games have been removed from both Steam and itch.io. And it's all due to pressure from payment processors. This isn't just about a few controversial titles. It's affecting everything from small indie projects to mature but otherwise legal games. It's a new reality where gamers no longer get to decide what they can buy. As gamers express their frustration, Visa has responded to multiple emails with what appears to be a copy-paste response. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your perspective. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. This sounds fair. Visa says they follow the law. Obviously,
I think that any company has to follow the law.
If something is illegal, that is its own situation, and I would agree that it should be banned from Steam. But these games we are talking about are legal, which is the problem. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers. This is a very strong statement. Visa claims they don't judge what people buy if it's legal. And if a purchase is legal, they process it. This sounds great.
It's a lie.
This is what you would assume a payment processor would do.
They're lying.
But if you have been paying attention at all to the
they're
situation,
lying.
you would know this is simply not true.
So while I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about the giant alien mothership supposedly entering our solar system in November, but I want to still talk about some other stuff. You know, I love alien talk just as much as everybody else, but let's not forget about the trafficking ring that the public actually knows about, no one is allowed to talk about. You know, the one with the flight logs and the intelligence agency ties, the one that does and doesn't exist, and somehow after all that, nothing happened. The case files got sealed. The names that don't even exist supposedly got redacted. The victims got silenced. You try to bring it up, and boom, the algorithm throttles your video. You know, and then it's always labeled as harmful content. But keep talking about the alien comet, and I will never stop talking about Palantir. You know, the data mining firm co-founded by the literal vampire Peter Thiel is now deeply embedded within the U.S. intelligence, law enforcement, and even healthcare systems. They recently scored billions in government contracts, becoming the central nervous system of surveillance, and people just ignore this. Through both of the last administrations, I hear people talking from both spectrums about this becoming 1984 and Big Brother and the surveillance system. But it's literally happening right now. Not just what you do online, but your medical history, where you travel, what you say, what you might say. They don't just watch your behavior, they predict it. This is Minority Report right here, but with spreadsheets. This is how it always goes. We get served one big flashy story, you know, aliens, UFO hearings, strange space rocks, And suddenly that's the conversation. Meanwhile, a government-connected trafficking network disappears from headlines, or they're trying to make it disappear from headlines, but we're still talking about it. You even have elected officials in Congress and the Senate playing defense on this one. A surveillance company built Skynet in plain sight, and everyone just keeps scrolling past it. It's like a digital sleight of hand. Look over here at the alien threat. Don't mind the actual predators who run things on Earth. So yeah, talk about the comet if you want. Joke about the mothership. I'll probably do it too. I can't say anything. But remember the stuff where the evidence is actually real, the system's still running, the names that supposedly don't exist are still being protected, the network still remains untouched. And believe me, if aliens are visiting Earth in November, let's be honest. Any information they actually want about us, apparently they can just stop by Palantir and it's all categorized.
A whole podcast on is there gold in the Federal Reserve? Fort Knox, excuse me.
Do you think there is?
I don't, dude, like, why won't they let the public see it?
How about the president? Can the president see?
Oh, yeah, 100%. He can say, do an audit, let's open up the vaults. The last time it was audited was only like one vault, and it was like 1973.
What if it was empty? What would that mean?
That would mean the price of gold would be like $50,000 next week. And the value of the dollar would drop like a rock.
Former CEO of Dole,
told us.
dead June 9th, 2025. Founder of Leprino Foods, dead June 19th, 2025. Leonard Lauder, CEO, billionaire philanthropist, dead June 14th, 2025. Frederick Smith, former CEO of FedEx, dead June 21st, 2025. Billionaire Burton Tansky, dead March 16th, 2025. Billionaire Robert Shapiro, dead May 2nd, 2025. Former CEO of Hasbro, Alan Hassenfield, dead July 8th, 2025. Blackstone executive Wesley LePatner, 43 years old, dead July 2025. Junior Bridgman, billionaire, dead March 11th, 2025. Joshua Pickles, DoorDash executive, dead June 21st, 2025. Milestone CEO, dead June 2025. Jim Irsay, dead May 21st, 2025. He was the CEO and owner of the Indianapolis Colts. You think all of these are a coincidence? All of them?
There is a big freaking UFO that's just hanging out off the coast of Maui right now, and no one is. I know I look like a rabid wild animal. I spent the day at the beach. Focus. There's a massive UFO, and it's just staying there. And this creator on here, and I'm going to tag him below, has like a time lapse of it just there, and it's so obvious. Like it lights up at night, and then it's there. It's just. I'm going to show you the video. This creator has like a 3-minute long video of the time lapse of this thing just being there, existing off the coast. And I've seen some other ones. I don't know, I might put together a compilation, but this one is very interesting because if you remember, Bashar said that they were going to start showing themselves and then they were going to just like hang out off the coast in a way to be like not invasive so that people didn't get freaked out. They were just going to stay there off the coast for a while, and I'm hoping that I'm really hoping because I'm getting very impatient. I'm a very impatient person. It's an unfortunate side effect of who I will always be. But this is very exciting. I came home to this and I just had to share with you guys because I was really excited. And I couldn't go to sleep until I shared it with someone. Okay, love you, bye.
Think about when Cube disassociated itself with NWA, when you had Jerry Heller attached to that shit, pushing the program on gangster rap, which was created by the CIA. Rap was at a high frequency, so high. 808 is the lowest frequency, bro. Then you got the low frequency, but then you got everything in like a G major and shit, which is the highest frequency. To where when you listen to Poe Righteous Teachers, when you listen to Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs, when you used to listen to Big Daddy Kane, and you see them, you thinking they talking gangster shit, but they really teaching. Cool Mo D not cursing. Rap was at such a high frequency, they had to intervene because you are awakening black folks too much. When you look at, and them niggas is teaching you to rebel against the machine. When they telling you welcome to the Terror Dome, when they telling you about the letter to the president, you had kids awaken. Now, they taking all of our terms And the terms of endearment we use in the worst and the shit that we use at the best, they making the best the worst. They doing reverse psychology on niggas. They took a term woke and turned woke into some bad shit. Consciousness. They telling you being conscious is damn near next to being unconscious. And they taking that word and making it be low level because it's too much consciousness going on. Because when they invented the phone, you had too much access to information. But just like Denzel always say, too much information ain't always good. We got to start bringing back the positive side because we at such a low frequency right now. Ain't every woman that's dropping music, they hoes. Every nigga's dropping music is a gangster, just like I was telling you earlier. No, everybody narrative in hip hop right now, everybody sold dope. Nobody had a regular job. Nobody being a regular nigga now ain't even good to be in our community. Everybody brainwashed. Media is designed to promote propaganda, bro. When you wake up seeing the same thing and they telling you, no, you can't promote that, nah, they fucking with what's called the algorithm. Well, you got an algorithm where they'll shadow ban you now.
Yes, indeed.
To where when you start teaching too much and you too influential on the positive side, they'll turn you down.
Did you know that the Grand Canyon is on fire right now and actually has been for a while? But here's the interesting part about that, right? I made a video in May about this guy's brother that was kidnapped inside of the Grand Canyon. His name was Jonathan Island, and supposedly, according to him, he was a physicist that worked at an underground facility that he claimed was in the Grand Canyon. Well, his brother that went missing was a forensic scientist, okay? And I think he was investigating people that went missing in or around the Grand Canyon. But I remember seeing on Jonathan's post that he said that he knew where the missing people were. Jonathan said that he knew about 2 of them and where they were specifically located. And then Jonathan claimed that he, his brother, and then supposedly one of Jonathan's colleagues that he worked with in the underground facility, Jonathan stated that they gained access to a certain sector of the facility. Now, Jonathan had stated that he himself did not have access to this specific sector. And when entering this sector, he said that he saw tubes and all of this crazy technology. Jonathan had claimed that these tubes were being used for, well, just imagine another version of you. But anyways, Jonathan stated that there was apparently an altercation and that this scientist that he and his brother were with was, Anyways, Jonathan had stated that his brother was kidnapped and then Jonathan himself was dumped in the middle of the desert without clothes on, apparently in a blindfold. I mean, he did post pictures and he had a whole bunch of bruises all over his skin and shit, and he had like a black eye. I mean, he looked like he was fucked up. But his wrists were the most given part because you can tell, I mean, I don't know if you know what it looks like when your hands are tied, but it was fucking insane. I haven't heard anything from him since. But I do remember him expressing himself on that post saying that people should be expecting. That was supposed to resemble fire, by the way, if you didn't know. But could you just imagine? I mean, it is retrograde season, so I am sure that everything will be pushed into the light.
Sphere Vegas has officially crashed down on the Wicked Witch of the East. Could you please describe the Wizard of Oz at Sphere in one word? Epic. Today is Judy Garland's birthday, and Sphere unveiled this 690-pound installation of 50-foot legs and 22-foot ruby slippers open to the public for photos during these hours. In order to announce the Wizard of Oz at Sphere, the next movie taking over the Sphere starting August 28th. Can you share any hints with me on where to sit?
Always you feel this canvas wrapping around you. If you are looking for something a little bit more special, there are the Good Witch and Bad Witch VIP packages.
I was talking yesterday at that barbecue. I was telling you about my Mama Bear's brother-in-law just got back from Vegas, and he was saying how crazy expensive it is, like we see on our clips, right? And I remember they used to have the big cups, right? The big cups. They're slushies now, but back in the day, you could put a mixed drink in that big cup. We used to drink Hurricanes out of those big cups, but he was saying how they're $80 now for one big cup. When I used to go, they were $30. $30, and we tell that bartender, like, we want to get messed up, so they would make them strong. Those big cups that are big up here and then skinny and then like a bowl on the bottom, they're $80 now, y'all. He was saying how much food is, buffets, just to go eat is like $90, and I think I'm good with Vegas.
Problem that they have, as Kissinger says, is there are just too many people on the planet.
and 40% of the world, 2 billion of us, exist on less than $2 a day. The summary of the Rebel 2000 report I put up on my website, nohopes.com. But if you look at it, it makes sense to get rid of people. So what they said, they're going to make godlike decisions on who lives and who dies. Now, obviously, some of the meetings we set on, we were planning on using neutron bombs on the major cities. Today, they figured that biologicals are much cheaper, but they're still planning on, the plan is to get a war started in the Middle East, and they're still planning on using a neutron bomb or one of the bombs that they've got developed on Israel, and that's to begin World War III, which is all in the cards, and it's going to happen. They'll even put a monument up to this whole program and call it the Georgia Guidestones. It's just to get the thing going in the Middle East, and it's not going fast enough. I mean, Carter put this thing in, so we have like Plan 2000 with the war starting in the year 2000 in the Middle East, right? Reduce the population of the planet down to 500 million, have one world currency under the Homeland Security, or FEMA, if you want to call it. They're going to declare an emergency, which they're going to shut down everything.
All right. Everyone's asleep right now, so I have time to talk about stuff like this, but I think about the Miami Mall incident in 2024 more than any other conspiracy out there. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you forget, there were like 100 cops, 150 cop cars out there. Insane. And they responded to teenagers lighting off fireworks or a brawl in the mall. Dude, I used to live in Miami. There was like 2 cops maybe that would show up there if there was a brawl. Something happened that night. And the fact that there's no footage that ever occurred from inside of that mall is crazy to me, because we all have our phones, and especially the Bayside Mall in Miami, which is pretty busy, especially on New Year's Day, which will be really busy. I don't know. And the conspiracy itself is insane about how aliens arrived to this mall. They're about 10 foot. They were kind of translucent. They kind of went in and out of dimensions, but apparently they messed up their coordinates. They were going to Antarctica. There was a secret base in Antarctica that they were supposed to go to, but they flip-flopped them and ended up in the mall in Miami. That is a fun one to think about. I hope that is true, because that is extra fun. But the thing that there's just no footage of the event, and that's what bothers me the most, because I know all these kids have phones on them. Not kids. There's adults there too. I don't know. I hope it's true, but it keeps me up at night. Like every 4 days I think about it, and it just pisses me off, because it's just swept under the rug and forgotten about.
Like that year, what was that? 2025. We're now 2020, like 2023, right? That's how, 2026 or 2025. 2025. That's how the year started off, was the alien incident, right? Call us conspiracy theories, whatever. You guys are crazy. This year, what do we start off with? Drones, right? They started calling them drones in the oceans. Then they started saying aliens, and then now they're saying next year, November, there's an alien spacecraft getting here, and they mean business. So is this year gonna be aliens walking amongst us? I mean, there's drones flying amongst us, UFOs, UAPs flying amongst us. Nobody cared, right? So is this the year 2026 that there's just going to be aliens walking around and it's just going to be another day?
Owe your entire life to a witch doctor?
Oh, damn, that's a mean deep cut right there.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's old school. Yeah, when I was little, my my stomach wasn't fully formed or something, and I was born like 8.5, and then I whittled down to like 4 because I couldn't hold anything in. And the priest came and blessed me, and I was like a goner. But my dad, it sounds crazy when I tell the story, but my dad sort of kidnapped me from the hospital and took me to this like bruja, which is like a Mexican witch doctor.
That's what Mexicans do, y'all.
Ensenada, and in Mexico, because I grew up right by the border. First generation kid, but my parents are old school. So they took me down there, and the lady had fixed my dad's leg that he thought was going to have to be amputated earlier because of some accident, but she ended up squaring him away. So he took me down there, and she had him mix this crazy concoction into this carnation milk and started giving it to me. And slowly I started getting better. And here I am.
Insane.
It's crazy. I say it out loud. It sounds, I don't really believe it, but
I mean, that's kind of a cool thing to be like, a witch doctor started this whole thing.
Yeah. So I guess I'm a believer of alternative medicine.
I think so. That's a pretty cool story, though. Like, it's a
true story. I mean, my dad always shows me, because he showed me when I was younger, the bills that he spent trying to keep my ass alive.
That's incredible.
And all it took was one trip down to Ensenada.
One trip down to this lady with her she put me on and rubbed my belly and did a whole thing. My dad says, I didn't believe him until my mom told me. My mom never listened to me. So
wow.
Said,
incredible.
Okay, so do you know that there's a town that you can't reside in unless you get your appendix removed? Like, it is actually a full-on requirement. And guess where it's located? Antarctica. This town is called Villa Las Estrellas or Villa Las Estrellas, and it is the most extreme town on earth. They have a bank, they have a tiny hospital, they have a post office, they even have a school, but outside of that, you are surrounded by ice, wind, and penguins. And the most extreme part of the whole debacle is the fact that in order for you to live there, you have to remove your appendix, because if it bursts for whatever reason, it will be weeks before you can catch a flight out of there or get to another hospital. On top of that, this place is so extreme that it goes about 60 degrees below zero. You can quite literally freeze in under 5 minutes. Your skin can just freeze straight off. And there's no sun in the summertime. The sun is missing for months, but people still live there. People walk their dogs, people go to school. It has a population of between 80 to 150 people depending on the season, but it very much exists, and it is a small town in Antarctica. Let me know if you've heard about it. If you haven't, go ahead and look into it. Save this video, share this video, come back, share your thoughts. Whatever else comes out, I'll be back with more details. Per usual, this is all alleged, but like, follow, stay for some more tea if you want to know more interesting facts.
There's music playing right here. I just muted it, y'all. He's going to talk right now. Check that out, though.
What state is this in? Michigan? Not surprised. Not surprised. Who the hell allows a former criminal, that's his offender, tier 1, to be able to adopt a child? Says a lot about the state laws. This is where I'm uncomfortable with two men adopting boys. And then added that the guy's got a record for sex. Seriously? People in Michigan should be much louder about this.
Well, I regard the Gospels as history. It's verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. There are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this up, that yes, he did exist. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys, rather than deny their belief, and nobody for a lie. Nobody for a lie.
The resurrection is the one that is the most difficult for people to swallow.
Yes.
This is the one that requires the most faith.
The most faith and the most belief. Yeah, resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that.
Right. You believe that was a real event?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
What brought you to that belief? Is this something that you've always had, or is it something you studied it and you've come to this conclusion because of the historical accounts? And
yes, I think as a child, one accepts things on faith because you're raised by people who are nice to you and they believe it. And I still have that faith, but as I got older, I came to it through intellect and through reading and putting things together in accounts, and then occurrences like in my own life. I buy it, but that's not the only reason I buy it. I mean, I think there's other logical reasons why I believe.
Like what are those?
Stuff that happens in your own life, the results you get from actually appealing to a power greater than yourself. I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I am flawed in the fact that I am by nature born and right. I did also, and there was nothing that could stop me from doing that. Nothing. So I was really you're on a downhill run. So I regard the fact that I was able to appeal to something greater than myself to help me and actually stop me doing that. I think that's a miracle. It is. For me, it is. And for many, so, and it's pretty safe to say I'm in the third act now. You're in act 2, right? Gesundheit. But I'm in the third act, man. You have to think about the other side. You have to think about what comes next. Is there a next? Yes, there is. I believe there is. And I think it's depends on how you live now. And the beauty of believing is that even for your transgressions, you can be forgiven and you can be redeemed. It's a great deal of mercy involved in the fact that I believe that God sent his son down to tell us, okay, I'm going to ransom you people from your fallen nature, and I'll give you a roadmap on how to do it. And people do it. There's even people that do it that have never even heard of it. You know, some guy in the jungle someplace, I'm sure, because the Creator is above the law. I mean, it's an interesting fact to note that the first canonized saint, you know who it was?
No.
The first ever confirmed canonization as a saint was Dismas. You know who Dismas was?
No.
He was the thief on the cross next to Jesus. And he says to him, you're going to be okay. This day, you'll be with me. Unbaptized, all that stuff.
Wow.
The lawmaker is above the law. So there's a lot of mercy.
Now I'm trying, like he said, like he got with the higher power to overcome his alcohol, his drugs, you know, his negative vices in life. And, you know, I was watching a podcast, it's called Hoodstocks, right? And he's a referee, ex-con, right? He referees boxing. And he brought that up, that, you know, he was on meth, and his wife left with kids, and he was strung out. He said, I got on my knees and asked, and he said, since then, he hasn't had a day that he had, you know, he's done meth, drank, nothing. Cold turkey. Been doing it for 30 plus years, cold turkey, just because, you know, so when I heard that, I thought, you know, I'm going to start, you know, yeah, it's only been a couple days, but I've just been trying to have conversations, y'all. Just conversations. I don't get on my knees. I don't close my eyes, right? I'll be driving down the road, just, you know, having a conversation with God, thanking him, you know, asking him when I go to this get together, you know, they're having burgers and hot dogs, you know, help me be strong when I want that burger, you know, I just ask that you remind me to think of you, you know, like things like that. And, you know, panic attacks, I have panic attacks, you know, I just, when those feelings start coming on, I just ask that you remind me to think of you, you know, because I didn't lose all my faith. I used to be really into praying and all that, but I had one very, very, very bad episode. My last episode I ever had, very bad episode. And since then, you know, I've been timid to step into that again because I went to a very, very dark place. But the past couple of days since watching that podcast and then seeing this clip, I'm starting to have those conversations again. And, you know, I gave in last night, went downstairs by myself, but I apologize and, you know, asked for forgiveness. And, you know, today's a new day. So that's the road and journey I'm trying to go on. Since doing these videos, I see a lot of that and trying to go down that road, you know, trying to get a better relationship. Not that I had a terrible relationship, but just trying to get on better terms, y'all. Because, you know, I have a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad vices. So, you know, realize you can't do it. I can't do it on my own. I'm not strong enough.
Anybody want to tell me why there's a rocket in this 1633 painting? Yes, from 1633. Look, that's a rocket. Or how about this Dutch painter, dude? The Baptism of Christ. What's that right there? That's kind of strange looking, isn't it? Huh? This one right here is 1327, dude. It's like 700 years ago. And look right here. What are these little dudes right here doing? They're at the top left and top right. What's going on with that, man? I mean, really and truly, I've got a couple more I want to show y'all. Hold on one second. Or the 15th century Madonna. What's that over Mary's shoulder? Look right there. There's an enlarged, but if you also look, before you try to dismiss
Take it easy.
what's this homeboy right here? Look, and his little dog. He's doing like this. The dog's like this. Somebody explain that one to me. I mean, how are all these paintings? And
talking to Mama Bear on the baby cam. She's like, oh. sorry to interrupt you guys.
Painting. What's up with that? There's got to be more to this. There's just got to be. This one obviously isn't a Christian painting, I know, but it's a daggum rocket, man. So let's look around on this picture. Let's see what we can find. Look, little dudes right there. I mean, that 1600s, man. I mean, I know fireworks. That's not a firework in my opinion. Come on, man. What's really going on?
The reason why Vegas is struggling right now is directly tied to elderly people. See, older people used to keep Vegas alive, right? Think about it, because they're running back and forth paying penny slots, eating at the buffets, going to the shows. They had a lot of really extra money just to do whatever, right? But see, now they can't do that like they used to. Elderly people are on fixed incomes. So with everything getting more expensive, like medicines, their rents, gas, groceries, they're going to cut out the things that they really don't need, but they enjoy doing. And let's be real, gambling trips to Vegas, that's not a necessity. Vegas built a whole empire, honestly, off of retirees. So when mama and papa ain't got that extra money, what you think happens to Vegas? See, when mama and papa ain't got that extra money anymore, what you think gonna happen? You gonna have empty slots, empty casinos, and eventually it starts to impact the entire financial system in Vegas. Ultimately, this ain't really about Vegas. It's ultimately about elections having consequences. And that's where we are. See, when seniors can't afford to stretch a couple dollars, that's a problem. That's a warning sign. It's not like they can go out here and earn more money. It's not like they're looking for jobs. So I gotta ask, if the people who helped build the Vegas Strip with their money can't even afford to do it anymore, what's the end game here?
If you were eating at this fine establishment, you're not gonna want to miss this video because, bro, they've changed the sign. And this is disturbing. Okay, so before we go any further, and now that I'm at the new location, I just want to let you know that this is all for entertainment purposes only. Right, TikTok? None of this is true. We're just having a little bit of make-believe. But check this out. Alright, so we're walking up to the original sign here. And what's different about this one than the last sign? It's a very interesting sentence right there. And of course, we know that they serve only 100% beef patties at these places. It's not like the company's named that or anything. But why are they starting to change and take down all these original signs that has that funny sentence? Let me know in the comments, guys.
Like, where rich people would pay to come into these underground fight matches in New York City, in the underground, in secret locations, and pay to watch children fight to the death.
Who the fuck would want to pay to watch that?
Well, think about Jeffrey Epstein's clientele, right? We know that that's real.
You think
right?
Bill Clinton wanted to pay to watch it?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, think this through as a thought experiment.
Okay.
If you have everything in the world and like lust and power, like addictions, anyone who's ever experienced any form of addiction, whether it's like to alcohol or to Adderall or to like porn or heroin, all those addictions kind of play on this sort of like this feeling, this like desire of like, oh, it just felt so good. And like whatever else is wrong in the world, like that's not wrong. And that's good. And they all kind of play on these same things. And powerful people, power, money, that lust for power, when turned towards the lusting and the greed, the darker side of power and money is inevitably an addiction as well in a lot of ways. And not everyone who's powerful and rich goes down that road, but clearly like the Epstein clients do, like clearly they want children, like they want to do. And there are snuff films, like people pay on the internet right now to watch murder, like to watch these kinds of things. Cause there's inherently a devil in everyone. I think the way I see it is that there's an angel and a devil in all of us, and you can feed the good wolf or the bad wolf. And some people get addicted to feeding the bad wolf. And a lot of times in a capitalist society that incentivizes greed and lust, like it incentivizes a lot of our worst behaviors, that means that a lot of the worst people will rise to the top of that system. And when you have people that are, I mean, you know, if you have 1,000 people that rise to the top of the capitalistic system in a room, one of them is probably going to be fucking evil, right? At least one. And you only need one billionaire or millionaire to be super evil, that suddenly there's a market for some really evil shit, right? Right? Because they have all the money in the world and they'll pay for it, right? What is the point of having all that money if you're not going to pay for whatever you desire? And so in a world this big, with this many rich people, with this much corruption, with this much evil in it, with people like Jeffrey Epstein in it, I think, yeah, there's totally a bunch of fucking people that will pay for some horrible shit.
Yeah.
Including the president of the United States, Bill Clinton.
Right.
And I'm not saying he necessarily went and watched child cage matches, but Alondra Markman alleges that he was a fighter in child death cage matches. And he directly alleges that he saw more, I forget his exact words, but it was like, I saw world leaders from other countries that you might not recognize, but they're definitely like he alleges that he saw some very powerful people at those events.
Does he name any of them?
No, he names, he talks it through actually in a way that kind of actually to me added credibility, in the sense of like, He's like, I'm not going to say those names because I think they're still alive. They're still out there. But he names a few people that he's like, I'm pretty sure that guy's dead. And that guy's like, I'm not really worried about that name because it's a pseudonym I know. And like, it's not going to, but he doesn't really, he's thoughtful about if his story was true. He's presenting it in a way that would kind of be like, that's the problem. It's like, it's kind of unprovable because he's not going to be like, this is the guy's name and he lives at that address and that's where it was. Cause like, then he's clearly going to die if he's telling the truth. But also if he's not telling the truth, then it's like,
it's a crazy fucking conspiracy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just really fucking full of shit. And unless you have some sort of evidence or some sort of corroboration to your story, I mean, a lot of people felt like that with the Epstein thing.
Y'all see my lights flicker like that? Told you guys. Thought I was lying. Lights have been flickering. I don't know what that was. That's Mama Bear's playing a joke on me and they're freaking me out. I don't know what that was. Did a light turn on? Everything's on, yeah. Everything's on. I don't know what that was, y'all. Told you guys, thought I was lying. Good old days of Call of Duty. Man, I used to get down on Call of Duty.
In a movie like Zoolander, when they're showing you that they're controlling Derek Zoolander's mind through mind control, you realize that they're trying to desensitize you and to make you think that what you're watching is fiction because it's in a comedy.
Hey guys, I was just doing my morning walk at the park, you know, the usual, and then I noticed this guy. He's been sitting there just staring for like an hour, and like, I don't know, it's just strange, but, oh my god, oh no. Alright, well, I don't know what that guy was all about, but I am done for the day. Anyways, thank you guys for it.
What type of bullshit is this? After 12 years of failed attempts, the man who lost his hard drive containing $742 million in Bitcoin finally ends his search. So in 2013, he had a hard drive that contained all of his Bitcoin on it, and his girlfriend at the time was doing a house cleanup and accidentally discarded his hard drive. And of course they split up after that, but the reason that his 12-year search has ended is because his lawsuit against the Newport City Council was dismissed. And after all these years of him losing his hard drive, it's just sitting in a landfill as we speak till this very day. You can't even be mad at bro for continuing this search for this long. That's almost $1 billion. I will literally go scuba diving in this shit every day until my last breath on this earth, until I find that damn hard drive.
Could you imagine?
Robert Kennedy said that our soil was bad. Is it possible that we could fix that problem, or is it going to take like forever to do it?
There is a solution, and it's in the Bible.
Yeah.
And it's regenerative agriculture.
What does that mean?
Regenerative agriculture is, there are a few different sort of ideas around this, but basically it's where you're building topsoil and sort of regenerating and healing the earth. In fact, if we go all the way back to Genesis, God called Adam and Eve to take the Garden of Eden and make the entire planet here a Garden of Eden. And the way that we can start working towards that today is by healing the soil, really strategically growing certain plants together and having animals graze. Animals, when they defecate and urinate, they're building the topsoil. On average, our produce has 40% less nutrients. That's how depleted our soil is.
Cut that human hair 10 times, and now you're looking at the whole fiber optic cable.
But then you zoom in with an electron microscope and find out there's 1,000 hollow cables in that little structure. And at the end of every one of those, that's now 10,000 times smaller than a human hair, there is a perfect camera aperture. Just like the camera aperture that allows light into your camera lens, there's a perfect aperture built and functioning in its three-dimensionality on the end of every one of those tubes that's 10,000 times smaller than a human hair. That shit's happening spontaneously in a single cell to become a multicellular organism, and that infant emerging from the womb of that woman has 70 trillion human cells that actually have no ability to create light energy, therefore has no ability to be alive. So nature plans for 200 mitochondria, which are bacteria, to live inside of every human cell to liberate the light energy out of food so that that cell could be animated. And so you actually have 14 quadrillion bacteria born into this being that hasn't even taken its first breath yet. And that 14 quadrillion bacteria so pack every single cell so full that if we were to draw a human cell correctly, you wouldn't see anything but mitochondria. So you go to a biology textbook, there's 2 mitochondria floating in there, and like, these are the mitochondria, and they're human organelles. They're not human, they're bacteria. And there's 200 per cell, unless of course it's a nerve, in which case there's 2,000 mitochondria packed into the cell body of that nerve. You've got 14 quadrillion bacteria in an organic garden living within this child that has just emerged to take its first breath. And that was self-organizing.
The Truman Show already showed us how America as we know it ends. Let's talk about it. No film, in my opinion, has been more prophetic than The Truman Show. In this video series, I'm going to break down the eerie ways that The Truman Show mirrors our own world and society, what we can learn from Truman's story, and hopefully how we can escape our own bubbles just like Truman did. I hope you'll come along for the journey. Truman is force-fed products every time he is trying to have an emotional breakthrough. Near the beginning of the film, Truman is searching through a trunk in his basement. He's looking at a sweater that he got from Sylvia. He's also thinking about how when he was younger, he wanted to explore and escape his reality. Of course, he's interrupted by Meryl, and what does Meryl do? She tells him, you need a new lawnmower. You ought to get one of those elk rotaries. And then you have the iconic scene where Truman is chased down in the forest by men in hazmat suits and returns home. Once again, at this pivotal emotional moment, what does Meryl do to comfort her husband? She brings up Mococo, a product. In our own world, it is so much easier to be a consumer than it is to get things like healthcare or therapy. We are constantly fed solutions in the form of products that we need to buy. We are all Trumans caught in a consumption loop that is draining us of our humanity and our sanity. Just as Truman is watched by millions of tiny little cameras, we are both watched everywhere we go and everything we do, both on and off the internet. And that data is used to feed us ads, to sell us things that are supposed to fulfill our unique little voids.
Crazy things are happening in hospitals. You gotta see this.
Sometimes when people pass away, there's 2 kinds of smells. RNs have been giving me all the details. I didn't ask for, by the way, but okay. People die every day in hospitals, right? And who is taking care of them? Nurses, CNAs, people like that. One of my friends is an RN. They said that when someone passes, this kind of scared me a little bit. It'll either be peaceful or it'll be like terror. The peaceful passing leaves like this sweet smell in the room. Very calm. The loved one says sometimes that they see other loved ones coming back to collect them. But on the flip, that other part, they'll start crying out that their feet are burning. People say that they're very hot. They start screaming about dark beings in the corner of the room. One even said that the one that was passing grabbed a loved one and said, they're real, then screamed out and passed away. A friend, that's an RN, said that when the one passes that's like saying that it's hot and that there's like feet are burning and all of that, it smells like sulfur, like this really horrid, like scary smell.
That's the reality we face. There's heaven or there's hell. And the truth is, we've all messed up in life according to God's righteous and holy ways. I mean, we've all sinned. And the Bible says that the wages of sin is death. But here's the good news. Jesus actually died in your place on the cross, and he lived a perfect life, and he sacrificed himself in your place so that all who turn to him as Lord and Savior have everlasting life through him.
If all human life was eliminated at once, what species do you think has the best chance of becoming the most dominant?
Expert says that octopus are the most likely creatures to take over the world should humanity end. And it's due to the marine animals' intelligence and adaptability. Yeah, I don't know that anything would. I think humans have taken over the world, but I don't think anyone ever during that time said, we must take over the world and lead all species.
Correct.
It's just we started building shit and ruining habitats.
Right.
Talking the other day about golf courses.
is
that they're
this?
finding out if you live within a mile of a golf course, you have a high likelihood of getting Parkinson's, like by 100 and something percent
Because of
more.
chemicals?
Because of the chemicals, because of the glyphosate.
Yes, Joe, yes, I've been screaming this for over a decade. Glyphosate doesn't just double your risk of Parkinson's, it destroys your gut, your mitochondria, your nervous system, your tight junctions, and your capacity to detox. It is a systemic poison, and it's in our water, our food, and it's in our children. Here's how you actually fix the damage. Number one, ditch folic acid. It's synthetic, it clogs up your receptors. You need real methylated folate, 5-MTHF, to reopen methylation pathways and start healing. Check out MethylGuard Pro from Thorne, or check out methylation suppositories, which are even more powerful. Number two, distill your water. Glyphosate is water soluble. That means that it's in your tap water. Distill it, add your minerals back, stop drinking your poison. I like my pure water distillers. I've been using them for almost a decade. Number three, fix your terrain. That means your liver, your gut lining, your nervous system. Check out HMET Binder from Cellcore and Mega Spore Biotic, which is a spore-based probiotic. So guys, this isn't just about Parkinson's. It's about your clarity, your mental health, your power, your consciousness. Glyphosate is going to numb you. Foggy brain, fatigue, disconnection. So when a doctor just tells you you simply have depression or anxiety, you might have Roundup in your bloodstream. Start waking up. No one is coming to save you.
America's latest idea to prevent school shootings is inspired by the war in Ukraine. See, recently a tech company called Campus Guardian Angel demonstrated how their new drone-led first response would save lives. The idea is that 30 to 90 drones would be permanently stationed at a school, and unlike law enforcement who have to first arrive on the scene and then move through the building relatively slow to avoid casualties, the drones can instantly smash through windows, confront the shooter just 15 seconds after launch, and are operated by the pilot stationed at the company's headquarters in Austin, Texas. They can even engage the shooter while waiting for law enforcement with sirens, a two-way speaker, pepper spray, and even projectiles. And if all fails, they say that the drones themselves can become non-lethal weapons by flying them straight into the shooter. But here is where things get crazy, because the company's CEO said that the inspiration came from watching how successful these drones have been against people with guns in the conflict in Ukraine. And listen, I get that that is well-meaning, but it's just so wild to think that there is a scenario where literal war tactics have a place at a school. And not just that, but 6 drones will cost the school $15,000 plus $4 a month per student. So if there's 2,000 students, that's an additional cost of $8,000 per month. But then again, you could also argue if these drones even saved one life, it would be worth every cent. But the question is, what do you think? Should these drones be rolled out ASAP nationwide, or is there a better solution?
I mean, I like it, but I don't like that students got to pay $4 a month forever, right? Pay off the drones. That's it. 95%, probably more, 99.9% of these schools are never going to use them. But yet, they're going to be paying that a $15,000 drone is going to cost $15 million. You know what I mean? To never use them. But it is a good idea. But I think a better idea is to ask teachers, hey, we're not asking everybody. I mean, I wouldn't want my son's teacher to have a gun in the. I would think like maybe there's people that are gun fanatics everywhere. So I know in that school, let's call it 20 teachers, 4 of them are gun fanatics, right? Very good tactical with them, that would love to have one to be that person that would go stand on the front line, you know, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the drone thing would be a good idea, but I don't like that you got to keep paying forever for those when they don't cost that much. They're just making money. And where's that money going? It's not going to the people, you know? It's not going to the students to make the school better. It's going to the people at the top, you know? It's going to that CEO.
If you were to go to the movie theater on December 21st, 2001, you would have to choose between the movies Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Ocean's 11, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Vanilla Sky, A Beautiful Mind, Ali, Monsters Incorporated, and Behind Enemy Lines. In the early 2000s, it was normal to go to the movie theater and see them playing 1, 2, or even 3 movies that would go on to become some of the greatest movies of all time. And these days, it seems like I'm lucky if I can find at least one movie a year that's even watchable.
This man was the most dangerous in the world. In 1963, in New York City, a man named Jerry Dunk ran a small hot dog stand on Main Street. But his hot dogs weren't just snacks. They were a sensation. People said they were the best they'd ever tasted. No one knew what made them so good. Jerry's secret recipe was a closely guarded mystery. Families lined up around his stand. Jerry always greeted them with a warm smile and a friendly attitude. He'd chat with the dads, talk about sports, or fishing. Many of the fathers said, "I'm just going back to Jerry's for another hot dog," and left with a smile. But they never came home. Police started an investigation. At first, Jerry was all smiles, playful, helpful, saying, "I'm just a guy with a grill." But as more men went missing, the police searched his house. What they found was horrifying. In Jerry's basement, hidden behind a locked steel door, there was a full-size basketball court. But that wasn't the scary part. At the other end of the room stood a massive industrial incinerator, its walls blackened with soot. Next to it, piles of men's clothing. When the police found him in his secret hideout, Jerry just smiled and said, "First rule of the game, you gotta win." When they asked where the missing men were, he pointed to the incinerator and whispered, "I'm the king of Dunk." Then he ran straight toward the flames, and now you can probably guess how he kept his hot dogs hot.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
With the compaction technology, we have a unique capability to compress trash, and this particular modified product shows through a clear window how those combs are designed. So,
Bam! I got it. Okay, I saw this thing on TikTok one day. I was just scrolling late at night and I saw this and I was like, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. It's a little trash can, right? You can use it for whatever you want, but I'm going to use it for my car because I always have a lot of trash in my car. It can hold up to 3.8 liters of trash. It can fit in your cup holder, which is very cool, very convenient. And yeah, but you're here for the main event. Will all this trash fit in this little container? Let's just see if it fits. Okay, don't judge me. All right, let's see if it fits.
What about a water bottle? I throw my trash out every time I get out of the car. You know, I don't leave trash in there. Trash can's right where I park, so. Don't tell me you're selling it, guy. TikTok became a giant selling platform.
Wow, dude, this is cool. I knew the reason why I like this product. Bam. It's all. See, cleared. All of that trash is
Flip it upside down.
Isn't that cool? And then when you want to dump it, you just pop the little bottom off right here. There's a little clip at the bottom. Bam.
Too much work. Just throw it every time.
And when you're all
you get out of
done,
your
just
car.
close it, take it back to the car, and pop it back in your cup holder. And you're good to go for next time use. Very cool product, very innovative. Go check them out on TikTok. I'm impressed.
Link below.
Very, very, very impressed.
The worst detox on the planet that trumps heroin is sugar. Sit for that for just 1 minute. I'm going to tell you why. It has the same detox as heroin, the same flat affect, the same restless legs, the same night sweats, the same not being able to sleep, all of it at a lower level, but it's in everything and it's everywhere. So even if you're not taking it, you go to the gas station to get gas and you go in to get a cup of coffee. What do they have? Every product has sugar. Sugar is the worst detox because you get off it and it's hard to stay off of it. And it's horrible coming off.
I don't support the Palestinians either. They're all hyped up and psychotic. But Israel's going to get us nuked, always backing them up like this. Israel calls the Palestinians goyim or cattle or dogs or subhuman. They keep them on concentration camps. I got video of them taking Palestinian women's tomatoes they grow and breaking their water containers and stealing. That's why you have this crap. And our children are going to die. We're going to get nuked because of this. Iran's got the nukes now. Syria.
Did you
I was
see?
like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Have you dived into Harvey Weinstein shit?
Yes, I've watched the first episode of that.
Bro.
Crazy. It's crazy. So you can't believe I'm on Harvey Weinstein's side.
Right?
Crazy. Like, I thought he was, like, guilty of, like, heinous crimes. And then you listen to it and you're like, wait, what? what is going on? When they go through the actual affidavit, like what the girls accuse him for, you're like, what? Yeah, also, the
He didn't have
emails back
testicles.
and forth with the girl. Yeah, she was talking about his testicles. He doesn't have them. Like, there's all these like things that should have like completely thrown out a lot of her claims. Like she was talking about, he made me like hold his balls or something like
He
that.
doesn't have balls.
He doesn't have balls. His balls are like literally like inside of his thigh.
When he's like 30 years old, they have to get rid of him.
He's got a terrible disease.
All right, family. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Made it this far. Y'all know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. You saw the lights flickering. I ain't making this up. Creepy things have been happening since we've been going on this dark side of TikTok. But we have fun, y'all. We have fun over here. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Hope you guys don't take things too serious. Don't take things too serious, y'all. Life is too short. You know, if you want to unsubscribe, unsubscribe. But you know what I mean? If I sit here and say one bad thing about Trump, you don't got to leave a paragraph bashing me as a dad and all this. You know what I mean? Just kindly go. If I'm not your cup of tea, it's okay. But I love the support you guys show me, y'all. I appreciate everything. I hope everyone has a good weekend. It's Sunday, one of my favorite days of the week. I'm going to cook some good meat for dinner with some bacon-wrapped jalapenos. And we're going to try to get back on track, y'all. Like I said, I'm trying to have these conversations with the higher power. And, you know, as long as I'm conscious when I'm going to do what I'm going to do with my bad habits, over time, I'll overcome them, you know? It's when you're not conscious of them. But now I got a good thing going, and I feel like we're going to make some strides, y'all. So I hope everyone has a good day. I'm going to get going. Mama Bear's down there. We got to get a trip to Walmart. This is Segovia. I got to change her oil tonight, too. I just remember that. Signing out of the man cave. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Later.